Okay, to kick off this layout update, we're just going to have a quick look at a little organiser box. If we just close it for you guys here, we can see what it actually is. We can see it's a Wix parts organiser carry case. Well, we're not using it for parts, we're using it for scenery. Because what you do is you can pick these up in Wix for about 10 to 15 quid, maybe cheaper if you look around, and you get these separating plates that can go into these grooves here. And obviously that comes in handy because you may want a lot of scenery for certain things. For example, here we've got one for the ballast. We obviously need a lot of ballasts for any layout really. And here we have some mud slash dying grass kind of colour, and we've got a lot of that as well because there's going to be a lot of that spread around the layout. And here we have some clump foliage as well, because that pretty much goes on any scene. That can go in corners to be used as weeds and to cover up grooves in the layout as well. And here we have some very nice fake stick, well, I don't know if they're fake or real or not, but if we just have a look at those, they do look quite authentic, but that's not the point. It's brilliant for storage. Here we have some gravel, just for gravel pathways and car parks. And here we have some colours you might not expect to find and you wonder why these might be there. I've mixed up, well, should I say we've mixed up the purple and the pink to use as flowers, and here we have a kind of autumn leaf mix as well. So we've kind of got pretty much everything in this box here, and I think it's just perfect for storage. Things you may want to avoid is if we get it closed up here. If you get it closed up like that, you don't want to carry it like an actual briefcase. You want to keep it nice and level, because the problem is if you pick it up like that, things are gonna go walkabout, and you don't really want things getting mixed in this box because that's a catastrophe. So if you're going to take it anywhere, make sure you carry it like that. Okay, so moving on to this part of the layout now, I'm just going to brief you guys about what's going to happen with this general area just here. Here what we're thinking of is a road going down here, well not on the edge, kind of through the middle if you like, and we're going to have some houses and kind of little shops just on here as well. We're also thinking of a pub, which you guys will see in a second. So, like I said, a road through the centre, a kind of booking office here, and a car park over towards there somewhere, but you won't see that just yet. So, like I say, returning to this subject, road through the middle, houses and shops here, and I just wanted to know what you guys thought about doing that. We'd still have this booking hall just here. The controller will be moved. I'm wanting to upgrade my controller very soon. That will happen very, very soon. So I'm going to give this area a nice clean up. This was for my A4 restoration project, but that's just been abandoned because it's way too complex for me and I'm really struggling to get certain parts for it. So those will be auctioned off. And moving on to the station part. The station is pretty well detailed. Soon we're going to start putting things like lampposts and benches in, and we're going to start adding people very soon as well, because it just looks a little bit too plain at the moment. You know, get it weathered up, add some fences. And obviously over there as well we'll need some more access. Obviously we've got subway access just there, but I think that's a little bit too modern and we will have to get rid of that. So we're just going to do the old-fashioned overbridges for this situation. And I think that pretty much covers the station area. Okay, here we are. We have an example building of what I hope all of the buildings are going to look like across that strip I was just talking about. We picked this up in a model shop today for a bargain, £9.50. It's a cardboard kit. As you can see, it's quite hollow. It's been built up really, really well, and it was second hand, and I couldn't resist. I thought it looked absolutely perfect. It looks really authentic. It looked really good with some lighting in there. Obviously it's really fragile, but you wouldn't be expecting to be touching this quite a lot. There's only one problem, and it's called the Red Lion, and we obviously know why it's called the Red Lion, because that's from British Rail. If we zoom in on that red lion just there, we can see that that is the lion that we're used to seeing on the tenders. There's obviously one on the sign here, just on the side, but that's breaking off, as we can see. That will be fixed. But I just wanted some cool suggestions for names of what we can call this pub. We did think of something called the Gresley Inn, or the Junction Inn, or something like that. Try and make it so it has the word inn on the end, because it's not just a pub, as we can see, it's kind of a hotel as well. So we'd like names with that. So feel free to suggest some comments down below. Okay, here we are. Quick ballasting update. I haven't been doing much ballasting recently, but I am going to start cracking on with it. I'm going to start cracking on with the straight bits here. As you can see, if we move up, you'll see the two corners, and all of that ballasting is pretty much done up to the first half of the corner. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and do these points as soon as possible, and then use my auto ballaster or my ballast holder, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to do these straights. As you can see, I've started brushing these down, but they're not quite finished yet, and I got tied up today, and I didn't have a chance to finish them. So there is going to be a lot more ballasting being done in the near future, especially this summer, seeing as I'm off college now. Okay guys, here we are. This is the special part of the update. So if we slowly move across, we can see, oh yes, we have a nice lovely gravel car park with a tree as well. So I'm just going to explain the car park to you as well. This is the gravel that you saw in the Wix toolbox, and as you can see here, we've already got a couple of cars parked in. Here we have a Bentley from, I think it's 1982, not too sure what Bentley that is. And here we have a nice little Mini Cooper just here, and there's somebody sat on top just watching the trains go by. And if we look at these tracks just here, as you can see, we've tried to replicate some well-worn tracks by making kind of grooves in the gravel and putting some mud inside, because obviously as cars have pulled in, they've obviously brought mud off the wheels, and below this there would have been mud as well, so that's just come up from the ground because they've dug so deep down. We've kind of made them more off into the distance because cars would obviously start to park up and stop and slow down by this part. So that's the gravel track covered, and now we move on to what we think is the best part. So if we slowly move across, we can see we've got some clump foliage here, and if we just give you a nice general overshot of everything, because I think you've been waiting long enough for something like this. So if we slowly move across, we can see that looks well, in my opinion, looks absolutely fantastic. It looks really, 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 really good. So if we start off with this bit just here, this is going to be this is kind of the very well looked after bit. So it's been cut down relatively well, very little clump foliage, and a few very, very nice trees. Obviously not many in close proximity to the rails, because obviously they could fall down. So as we can see here, although I did say it was well looked after, we do have one tragedy just here. We do have a tree that's fallen over. Things have obviously fallen off the top, and we've got some clump foliage along with some branches down here. And if we just come along just to here, we can see that we do have the branches that have broken off, and I think that looks pretty authentic. Moving on, we have a hedge here to kind of separate this part from this part. I don't know why, we just felt like putting it there to kind of separate the good area from the bad area. And we have some nice trees here, nice clump foliage once again, a tree as well. These are all nice and secure in place, so they're not going to go anywhere. Clump foliage once again, and here we have a nice big tall tree, which we've tried to give an autumn effect by sprinkling some orange and some yellow foliage on it. We've got a nice effect, a nice kind of pre-autumn effect, and I think it looks really, really good. It's a really nice tall tree. Moving over here, we've kind of tried to replicate a tree that's been dead for a long time and it hasn't been very well looked after. So as we can see, it's kind of still dug into the soil, or the grass even, and all of the branches have fallen off and obviously gone into the ground. Obviously we've got no leaves or anything like that, because obviously it's been dead for a long time and they've obviously all blended into the ground, or just gone about their own business and just gone basically. Moving on, we have a little train spotter just here who snuck onto the tracks and is taking some pictures, which we think looks really, really good. Once again, more clump foliage, a couple of branches. We've tried to replicate a part of the tree that's fallen off on this bit, and we got a hedge. We're going to raise this hedge just here, so that will look really good, because we're going to plan a roadway just coming along here. So if you just follow my fingers, we'll plan a roadway. It'll come just down here. It gets a bit narrow here obviously, but the road will be wide enough, I think. And then if we move on to the final bit, this is the first bit that we did just here. Looks very basic here until we get to about here, where we've got some branches, more clump foliage, some little trees, another big branch, as if to say this bit's just been, as if to say this has been, a big tree's been chopped down and some logs have just been left there. And we've got some nice little trees over here as well, just purely for decoration and just to match the area. More clump foliage and bigger trees, and that's pretty much it for the whole area. And we've kind of blocked this off here, covered that gap with clump foliage. Okay guys, thank you very, very much for watching indeed. I really hope you enjoy this layout update. Me and my girlfriend Georgina have really, really had a great time making this scenery. It seems daunting making scenery, but you just have to use your imagination. You know, get a friend over, get your girlfriend over if you have one. Well, if she likes model railways, and just have some fun. Be creative and just use your imagination, like we've done here. And it's all unique. It's all down to you what you do. And remember, a model railway is yours and nobody else's. Obviously, take advice from people on particular techniques you want to use to make your scenes, but they're your scenes at the end of the day, guys. Make sure you be really, really creative and you let your mind do the work. If your mind goes blank, then just go searching for inspiration in rail magazines and on YouTube. Once again, guys, thank you very much for watching indeed. Crack on with some scenery, it's summer, make everything look nice and wild and alive, and I'll see you guys later. Have a great day.